New Japan, I don't know if you have to speak Chinese to do that, though.
No, Japanese.
Or Japanese.
Yeah.
What's the difference? They're all the same.
No, this is why we don't have any.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
So let me go back real quick.
Fans know that.
To your first day, you referee the match with Tyler Bateman and Ruby Reyes. And that's Robbie just told you, go in the ring and let's see what you got, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So when you finish that match, what's the first thing they tell you?
Oh man, you need to have more confidence. You need to be the official. You're not the official at all. You need to take control.
Yeah.
And I probably heard that for a good 2 years, and I still hear it sometimes. But that just comes with practice. And I was like, how teach me? Like I don't know what to do, but you kind of have to find your voice.
Yeah. See, again, it goes back to, I don't know, maybe did you have the same thing like I did, which is, the referee's there to do the 1, 2, 3, the DQ and everything. And just like you said, now you have to be more authoritative in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really realize how much a ref has to do until you start doing it. Mm-hmm. You'll hear a lot of wrestlers that are special guest referees say, mm-hmm. wow, that was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just counting the 3 and that's it. But really, you're constantly checking up on wrestlers. If you need to deliver messages between wrestlers, or if you're working television, you get a message from the back. You're trying to keep matches on time so the show doesn't run long. It's just you have to have eyes everywhere. If there are cameras, you can't block the cameras. You're trying to help the wrestlers work to the cameras and do as much as you can. You're kind of like a director in there.
So go ahead. Butcher.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, because I want to ask you the next question. But go ahead.
I was going to say, so then when you do that and you go back home, now when did they tell you to, like the push-ups you said, did you expect to, you come back for day 2, let's say, and now you're doing, I'm guessing, but you probably did it on day 1, like all the cardio,
mm-hmm.
and you're learning to take bumps. Did you expect that, to be learning to take the bumps, or did you, again, because I was interested, I had talked to, you're going to laugh, Mariachi Loco once, and I'm like, hey, I want to be a manager. And he told me, like, oh, you got to learn how to take bumps. I told Butcher the same thing, like, hey, Butcher, I wouldn't mind being a manager. He said the same thing. You have to be able to learn to take bumps. I go, how about a referee? Same thing. He told me, no, bumps, manager, bumps. Everything is, I think even announcer, he said, you got to learn how to take a few bumps. So were you surprised when they told you, like, hey, you have to train like a wrestler, kind of, or were you kind of like expecting it when you came in?
I kind of expected it. I knew it was going to be intense, and I kind of just wanted to learn the basics,
mm-hmm.
Just so I could understand. I knew at the time that it was going to be valuable, so I wasn't surprised learning how to bump. I was surprised that I was able to be a competent wrestler in class.
Right.
But it's a testament to the training, really, and just working hard.
Yeah.
Especially as a referee. I mean, let's say, for example, if he didn't bump at all, and we get a guy, let's say like Brody, comes and power bombs you, how will he be able to protect himself? So it's very important.
Yeah, very important. It's important, obviously ref bumps, planned or unplanned in a match, they happen. Mm-hmm. And also for managers too. We teach a manager class right now at Santino's, and that's one of the things that we just taught them last week was bumps, because maybe they're not taking a flat back bump in the match, but they might have to go on the apron and be a Bobby Heenan and take a clothesline and fly up on the apron.
Minus Fuji, but Bobby Heenan was a wrestler in his early days. But through his whole period of time, he did some crazy bumps going over the top. Ropes.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart as well.
Yeah.
Slick.
Yeah.
Did a few things too. So
did
anybody else tell you that? Well, Fred Blassie, he was too old, but he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
But I think
what was his name from the Dream Team that managed Brutus Beefcake and
Johnny Valley.
Johnny Valley. He was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler too. Yeah. So that
I didn't know. Really.
You don't forget how to bump.
Yeah. We were talking off the air. I don't know if you were here yet. I think you were. We were talking about Dangerous Danny Davis, the referee in the WWE that turned heel. Have you have that little itch maybe for a Nick Patrick or? Oh, like to put on the tights?
Justin Borden even.
Be that. Yeah, he's the hate referee. Do you have any itch or maybe?
No, if if the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense, then
To do it,
then I would do it. But for now, I'm just kind of happy being a ref.
Yeah.
I just want to try to get better and keep getting experience and getting better.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about wrestling, it's a corny business, but unpredictable.
Yeah, it is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Have you wanted to step in the ring and wrestle?
Maybe one match, just
Yeah.
to say that I've wrestled a match and have that accomplishment in my life, but I wouldn't want to be a full-time wrestler now.
Do you, when you go to training, do you still go to training at Santino's or?
Now I teach a manager class there. No, I don't do as much wrestling training anymore.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you when you're there, or like the other guys are training there, and you see them in the ring, like maybe the rookie class or something. Do you get the itch to kind of step in there and be like, I could take, like Lucas Riley's in there. He's a small guy.
He's fast though. I've trained with Lucas. Yeah, he blows me up.
You ever get the itch
Can't
to
go with
maybe
him.
say like, you know what? Let me do a little practice match with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go hold to hold with Jesse James.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'll try to like lift his leg, and it's super heavy. And
You're gonna say something, Butcher?
Yeah, I was going to ask you when you refereeing with the males, and then do you ref with the females? Have you done any of the females?
yeah, definitely.
Is it much tougher with the males or with the females?
I think it's the same. Honestly, it just
Not
kind of
that there's
depends
any
on.
preference, just
Yeah, no, I
in
think
general.
it just kind of depends on the wrestler and the style of match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wrestling is so unique in that each wrestler is so different from every other wrestler that every match can be completely different. So
No female wrestler try to like make the moves on you or move
I mean,
flirtatious.
yeah.
So they can get the cheap win.
I think maybe, but
I mean, a little
I try to.
distraction, a little perfume,
All right,
something.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. I'm gonna put you on the spot. The hot seat right now. The hot seat question right now.
Oh, here he goes.
Yeah. No, we were talking about that. A female wrestler. You know, they try to get the referee on their side. Is there somebody you almost gave into and be like, you know what, she's pretty cute. I'm be a little more lenient to you.
You know, somebody that always tries to trick me is Heather Monroe. She'll always try to like fake an injury or like be extra nice to me in the ring, but I'm on to her.
You haven't had that. Who was it? Stacy Keebler. Remember back in the day, she used to like wear the little shorts or the skirt and have to tie her shoe coincidentally, or distract the referee somehow.
I think I've had Ray Lynn try to distract me in a match before. You got to keep focus. You got to be professional.
How about any of those male wrestlers? A little Rico die.
That's Davis time, right? So.
A little Daniel
That
Bryan.
happens too sometimes.
I guess.
You never know.
It could.
You never
Butcher,
know.
you tried it.
What's that?
You tried to distract the referee once,
Oh, lots of times.
showing him a little butt cheek.
Oh no,
He must have seen you train at Santino's.
no. I no. It was most of the fit pad was show my meat off.
Oh, damn.
My raw meat. It was not the
okay. That was good.
chicken and beef meat. Not
Okay.
Do any of your friends I'm sure when you told them you wanted to be a referee or you wanted to be in the wrestling business, you always have those guys that are like, oh, you want to be in that, Did you have any of that?
They're kind of like, that's random.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
do they go see you?
Yeah, some of them do. Some of them came to the PCW show last
Okay.
week, and they had a great time.
Yeah. Now, speaking of PCW, you had Great Muda, and then you have like Johnny Mundo, aka Johnny Morrison. I'm John Morrison, and you have like Pentagon and some of these guys that are on TV, on WWE, Lucha Underground, whatever. Have you ever like marked out for anybody? Like, being like, not like to their face, but let's say you're in the back and John Morrison walks in and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I saw this guy on TV and I'm refereeing for him now.
No, I mean, honestly, I try to keep it as professional as
Yeah.
possible. The mentality I try to have is that I belong there, even though I'm not on the level of a John Morrison yet.
Right.
I hope to be. So I can't get there if I don't act respectfully and professionally.
How about inside? Have you been like, wow, I just saw this guy. They see like,
I mean,
yesterday.
it's cool. It's cool to see guys like Terry Funk.
Yeah.
I think that as a kid, if you would have said, "Hey, one day you'll be in a locker room with Terry Funk," I'd been like, "No way."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's our Butcher. Butcher was just like, can I take your picture?
Yeah, except
Come on,
for
real quick
Butcher.
selfie.
Butcher would have been like,
Get out
hey.
of here, Butcher.
It's okay, I'm working right now. Doesn't matter. Come on, real quick. Facebook, Instagram, here we go.
See, like for me, like this week, we were just talking about it like yesterday, the whole DX reunion. it was just like amazing to me to just be like, wow, Billy Gunn was just here Saturday, 2 days ago, and X-Pac was just here like 10 days ago. So I'm like, I just saw these guys, like,
yeah.
To me, it was
it's
like
crazy.
a crazy thing, and so that's why I was wondering, like, do you ever have that, like, like I'm sure, like, if they told you, hey, you're gonna referee, I don't know, like a Triple H match, being a fan of DX, would you kind of like be like, oh man, this is?
I mean, it would be, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you get a high-profile match, it's pretty cool just to be a part of it.
It's honorable. That's right.
Yeah,
well, speaking
definitely.
of high-profile match, have you had that moment where you look at in the ring, or when they tell you like, oh, you're going to referee this match, where you're finally like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually here?
I think a good recent example, I reffed an NWA Heavyweight Championship match, the Tim Storm versus Nick Aldis, which I guess was the first televised match since Billy Corgan bought the NWA. So, a great honor, like you were saying, Butcher, just to be trusted in that position, to be a part of that. That's such an important role as a referee. You don't want someone that's going to screw it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm glad that I didn't.
What was the one time besides that one where the fans chanted at you, where you feel like maybe you did kind of? And how did you recover in that match?
I'm trying to remember a specific match, but I've probably like blacked it out of my memory because I'm a pretty harsh critic on myself. But I've definitely had it where you count to 2 and then it should have been a 3 because the wrestler didn't kick out. I know that happened at a pro wrestling match. I don't remember who was wrestling.
Well, speaking of referees, I'm glad you brought it up, and thank you. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor last night. I don't know if you watch Raw every Monday, or SmackDown, but last Monday, if you watched it, they had Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, and the referee clearly hits 1, 2, 3, but he holds up the 2. I mean, what do they teach you in that situation? He kept the match going, but it works on TV.
Yeah.
Because you can always say, like, the referee, they can build up to a future match or something like they did.
Yeah.
But, has that happened to you? And it has. How do you recover from, what do you do,
So what's weird about that, I actually was talking about this with a bunch of referees. So the referee had put himself in position, stopped himself with the count, but it looked like a 1 because the way he stopped himself, he hit the mat.
Right.
But then he slides back and goes into the count. So it was 1, 2, and then it was a kick out, but it looked like a 3.
Right.
And I think the commentators thought it was a 3.
Yeah,
it was just a confusing situation. So I think just trying to avoid slamming into the mat like it looks like it's a count. But as far as if I've ever had experiences like that, like I was just saying, I counted to 3 one time in pro wrestling, and I forgot to call for the bell just because I was so green at the time still, and like, man, it was bad. It was just an awkward situation. The wrestlers like kept wrestling, and I was like, no, the match is over, but like, I don't think I ever called for the bell.
Right.
It was just like totally awkward and a learning experience, but it happens to everybody.
Have you ever had a bad like referee moment like that when you were refereeing, like not refereeing, managing that?
Oh my goodness! Oh, this was it was a backyard house. I remember a long time ago, and Mario Konansky did not show up, and I wasn't prepared for it. And I still went in. They gave me a T-shirt, but I was just so blown, and I just kind of screwed up. And I'm not a referee. I was managing at the time, and that was my big mistake, kind of embarrassment. And I won't do that again. You gotta be prepared. You gotta be psyched, to do stuff like that. And then when they just throw in something, just go out there and do it. Yeah, naturally you go and do it, but then at the same time you're like, you're gonna mess up somewhere.
You don't have your head in the game.
Yeah. See, I didn't know. It's important to call for the bell. Now the 10 count. Do you guys count? I'm gonna ask a lot of questions here because I'm curious about this. The 1, the 2. Do you guys like go 100?
Yeah,
100.
Yeah. I try to keep it at the same cadence.
Yeah.
So I'll count that in my head.
Yeah.
And then sometimes fans try to mess with me and get me to like go faster or like forget my count.
Yeah. Do they do the 10 chant to you too?
All the time.
Because I
All
know
the
that's a
time.
new thing now where they go, where in WWE, the referees are going 1 and then 10, 2, 10 because of Ty Dillinger. Do you get that at
I get that all the
too?
time, and I'll have to yell even louder to make sure that the wrestlers hear me.
Right.
My biggest fear is that the wrestlers don't hear me and I get to 10. I think I've only ever counted a wrestler out once when they weren't expecting it.